Hi and welcome. The map Mozdok is one of the simplest maps in War Thunder, and it honestly makes me want to cry when I see half of my team and the enemy team rush to the nearest point, only to get completely lost and not know what to do next. That's why I decided to show you a great strategy that surprisingly very few players use. On this map, the key point is point B, and in most cases, the team that controls it ends up winning. At the very beginning of the battle, our goal is to get to this position to intercept enemy tanks moving along the flank. Sometimes enemies move across this open field, and if you're playing a fast tank, it's an easy first strike. The first phase of the battle happens at this position, and our task is to try to clear Sector A3 of enemies, which will allow us to advance toward Point B. On your screen, you'll see two hills in Sector A3, where enemy tanks often hide. The easiest way to take out an opponent is to wait until they attempt to move from the right hill to the left. There's a gap between the hills that serves as a kill zone, and that's where you should aim to catch your opponent off guard. The first couple of minutes of the battle should be spent in this position to protect our team from a flank attack, clear the hills in Sector A3 of enemies, and gather information about what's happening in the fight. Tanks with poor gun depression also perform very well in this position. The key information we need is whether there are cautious opponents behind these hills who play without mistakes, as well as what both teams are doing at Point B. If the enemy team is pushing Point B, we can take this position to contribute to capturing the point. From here, we can easily catch opponents off guard who aren't paying attention to us and make a significant impact in the battle for Point B. This is a strong defensive position, and the only way we'll be taken out is if we make a mistake. If our team is losing badly, this spot allows us to deal massive damage to the enemy while holding the line until the end of the match, racking up plenty of kills in the process. This position is best suited for tanks with good gun depression, but if you're an experienced player, you probably know how to create extra gun depression by sharply stopping your tank. With the right skill, this position can even be effective for tanks with poor gun depression. Now let's discuss a more aggressive approach to gameplay. If we're confident there are no enemies in Sector A3, we can move to an excellent position that allows us to clear Point B of enemy tanks. From this spot, we'll have a fantastic view of the enemy side of the map, enabling us to destroy a large number of enemy vehicles and make a massive contribution to our team's victory. This position provides excellent coverage for defending Point B and offers a clear line of sight on many enemy tanks as they leave their spawn, heading toward us or Point C. It's a phenomenal spot that will allow you to rack up a significant number of kills. Here's an important tip. To your left, there's a hill where enemies often position themselves. You should never try to climb that hill in an attempt to attack the enemy. The reason is that the only thing players defending Point A are focused on is that hill. This means your teammates will almost always assist you in dealing with any enemy who tries to attack you there. Don't forget to periodically check for enemies to your left. Most of your deaths will happen because you'll be too focused on destroying enemy tanks and forget that an opponent can flank you from the left and take you out. By the way, this position is incredibly strong for playing with a buddy. If you often play with a friend, just ask them to keep an eye on the left flank. This will allow you to stay focused on the fun, and they'll likely pick up a few kills too. In most cases, I stay in this position until the end of the match. However, if your team is completely dominating and you're worried you won't get any kills, and your conscience allows it, you can use a few spawn camping positions. The first one is located in Sector A3. From this hill, we have an excellent view of the enemy spawn. Any tank can play here, whether it has good gun depression or not. The second position, which is safer, is right here. It provides a great view of the exit from the enemy spawn and decent coverage of the spawn itself. And if you're pure evil and have a tank with good gun depression, use this hill in Sector E4. Keep in mind that reaching these camping positions alive is a very challenging task that can only be accomplished if our team has total dominance. That's why I still recommend staying in the center of the map and defending Point B. Before we move on to discussing the strategy for the opposite side, I want to thank you for watching my videos, leaving so many comments, and motivating me to create content. In just 2 months, more than 4,000 people have subscribed to the channel, and for me, that's an absolutely fantastic result I could only dream of. Thank you guys, I truly appreciate your support. When we spawn on the upper side of the map, playing on this map becomes even easier. We'll still focus on controlling the flank and fighting for Point B. From the moment we spawn, we already have a key piece of information. A large number of enemy tanks will head to Point A. That's because just like our teammates, they'll rush to capture the nearest point. We need to move to this position. From here, we get an excellent view of Point A. If we're playing a fast tank, we can always intercept slower enemies heading to capture Point A. From this position, our main task is to prevent enemies from entering Sector B2 and destroy all enemy tanks we find at Point A, as well as eliminate anyone trying to break through on the right flank. For the first couple of minutes, we'll stay on this hill, defending our right flank. If the enemy pushes toward Point B, we need to quickly reposition and engage with the opponents attacking Base B. Enemies often try to climb this hill, so always check it before attempting to take out an enemy tank. If our team is struggling, we can stay on this hill for the entire match, maneuvering within this small area. The goal is to destroy as many enemy tanks as possible on the right flank and in the middle of the map. Tanks with poor gun depression can't play here, and will have to climb to the very top of the hill to get enough gun depression to shoot at enemies on Point A. However, the problem with this position is that enemies will often catch us from the left, so always check your left before firing to make sure no one is waiting for you. If the battle is going in our favor and we've cleared Point A while our team pushes Point B, we should join the attack and reach this position. From here, we can eliminate enemies hiding on the hills and intercept enemies leaving the spawn. This is a very strong position where we can play out the rest of the match. From here, we have good coverage in any direction and we completely control Point B. If you prefer a more aggressive playstyle, you can use this position. From here, you'll have partial visibility of the enemy spawn and can intercept opponents heading to the left. However, this position has a significant downside. We lose control over the right side of the enemy spawn, which we had from the previous position. If your teammates aren't covering the right flank, enemies might flank us from the right, forcing us into close combat. By the way, if our team is completely dominating, we can move to Sector E1 for some dirty spawn camping. That said, I still prefer staying near Point B until the end of the match. I hope this video helps you in battle and gives you a solid game plan, one that's much better than mindlessly rushing to the nearest point and then getting lost in the fight. Thank you for watching, and take care.